Betting on you would be crazy.
Alright, so we're doing something a little bit different than usual today. Normal lectures, I go over a game, either professional game, amateur game, whatever. I'm going over something. Or occasionally, I'm picking someone out of the audience and I'm just randomly playing moves with them. One setup that I've actually wanted to do for a very, very long time now, though, is play a game with another teacher and discuss moves as we are going along through the game. I'm not going to mention who I wanted to get originally. Suffice to say, Frozen is here, and as you can see, he's a 6-dan on KGS.
KGS lies.
Now, those of you who are watching on... Whoa.
Yeah, Mad Echo. I don't think I have your stream open, so...
No, it's KGS. Mute your KGS.
Mute my KGS?
For a second. Just for a second. Just for a second. Just for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold on. Mixer... Let me find KGS.
Just go File, Set Preferences on KGS's window.
No, you just have to find the one for KGS here. I have it separate. KGS
No, you can go to your KGS window and go to File, Set Preferences, and uncheck Sound Enabled under KGS's main window, the room window.
I already muted though, so...
Okay, whatever. Anyway, those of you guys who are actually watching on KGS, I recommend that you do not do so. I recommend that you go to my Twitch account and watch from there, because you will be able to hear both myself as well as frozensoul, who I will be playing today and discussing moves with. So if you actually want to hear both sides of the lecture, I recommend that you go there. That way you can hear what's going on. Hearing only one... How long is it expected to last? I don't know. It's going to be about a usual hour. You're hearing an echo because you're hearing me on KGS and on Twitch at the same time. But the audio from Twitch, or the audio from KGS is disappearing in a second. So I recommend that you really, really go to Twitch if you want to actually hear what's going on. If you want to ask questions, you can do so either here or on Twitch.
Yeah, if you ask them here, then I'd be happy to answer them straight from KGS, but just make sure on Twitch so we can hear you.
Yeah. Let's see, I am actually active on Twitch right now, right? I'm not hallucinating.
I have no idea. Last time I had Twitch, I have it muted, so I don't want to go on because it will make another echo.
Yeah, we're actually live. Okay, so Twitch is actually lying to me. I'm live, but it says I'm offline, so it's really, really weird. Go to this to hear us both. Alright, so that aside, let's go ahead and set you for black for frozensoul.
I'll try to play relatively normal. I'll try to hold back as many funny moves as I possibly can.
And do whatever you want. And Biosec actually came from a friend of mine who was in love with Rurouni Kenshin. They wanted me to have an ID. I asked them. They said, here, do this, and yeah. That's pretty much what happened. Alright. Opening up 4-4, that's completely normal, nothing unusual. You didn't do Tengen. Congratulations. I know how many people asked you to do that.
Or Sanrensei.
Or Sanrensei, yeah, that's another one. Always another favorite.
That's just very simple and very normal.
Alright, so immediately he approaches my 4-4 stone. What does that say? Two potential possibilities, well, three potential possibilities. He can go into Chinese, he can go into Kobayashi, or he can just play a Joseki and just have kind of some normal-ish kind of game.
Or if everything goes according to my head, I can do something really, really crazy that I saw in a program once.
True. However, white does have possibilities as well. I could say, I've gone against this transitioning into Chinese so many times, just forget all that, I'm going to approach the 3-4. Or I can say...
R5s are common. At least I'm not sure about... I've seen R5 sometimes, but Q5 seems more common for what I see anyway. For white.
I usually see R5 a bit more common. That way, if I'm pincered, I can actually change direction and get like a little 2 space on the bottom, while still having Aji back in the corner to live. Another thing I could do here is, if I think he might play Kobayashi and I don't want to play against that, I can pincer. I don't really mind what he does, so I'm just going to back off and give him the options. Okay, so he is playing Chinese. Crazy, crazy, super, super fast Chinese. Now, general rule of thumb, I backed off once. I'm usually not going to back off twice, because if I do that, it's kind of really, really passive, because you can see, if you're watching on Twitch, for example, you can see my mouse hovering over the small knight. And you can see it's both third-line stones, so how can you really develop off of a bunch of third-line stones? Kind of difficult to, so we usually don't do that. We usually pincer at least once.
From here, there's a few
Yeah,
options.
you can back off, but you have to really know how you're following that up. Otherwise, you're going to be getting into this... Sorry, what?
If you're going to back off with white here, you'd have to back off with white. C14 wouldn't make much sense. D14 would be the better way to back off there. Here I have a few ideas in my head. The crazy idea would be to just play Chinese now and ignore you, but that also leaves H3, and then I'm approaching two parts of the board, so that can get a bit difficult. I can fall back into Kobayashi, or I can continue in the corner.
Alright, thank you for pointing that out. I have raised his volume. If he continues to be quiet, let me know, and I will raise it further.
Shall I repeat myself?
Yeah, sure.
Basically, what Black I think can do here is he can, if he's going to play really crazy, in my opinion, he can fall back to R9 and just keep it in Chinese. But then that leaves white with H3 later, and I'm approached in two parts of the board, so that's a bit difficult to handle sometimes. I can fall back to K4, and then it just depends on what white wants to do, or I can follow up in the corner.
Yeah, usually when I see this double approach, it's usually to back off into a Chinese variation, because that's why you're really going out there and trying to see what kind of a framework you're trying to get. And it really gives a bit of a headache to white, because, I mean, real quickly here, and I'm making trouble for myself, because I have to go typey again, but, I mean, just how many different options do I have here? I mean, I can follow up this move, I can pincer down below, I mean, am I going to avoid all of them and try and approach? Am I going to approach the 4-4 instead? I mean, how many different options are there here? I mean, there are a lot, right? So...
Arsenal to deal with every single one of them. So this is also not just so fast, but it's a bit more of a flexible way to play Chinese as well, in my opinion.
Let's see. And I'm going to be spamming this link out periodically for those joining us. Alright, so that said, I have to make a decision. What am I going to do? If I play F16, I'm giving him the option of making the framework that he really, 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 really wants to make with any time you build a Chinese variation. You want to build off of it. So right away, my eye is drawing towards the bottom of the board rather than the top of the board, because I do not want him to expand off of that 3-4 stone. So the only question is, am I going to do it in a traditional manner and approach from the outside, or am I going to just pincer his approaching stone, which also kind of limits him, but he does still have options for further expansion. I'm just going to go for the super, super normal pincer here.
2-space because of Q3. It's more common to see 2-space than anything else. H3 would be a bit more severe, but it also gives me more Aji with the F3 stone, in my opinion. So, and it makes it easier for me to work on the bottom. This J3 stone is kind of a balance for why it attacks me and kind of sort of reduces my potential on the bottom with Q3.
It also keeps in mind the fact, like, how is F3 going to live? And we may or may not see this later in the game, I don't know. But one way for it to live is to go into D3, and if you choose not to live in the corner, there's going to be a peep later at G2, and this way G2 will probably still be able to connect back up to J3 pretty easily. If that stone was further away, then the chances of that being able to connect back and maybe you just killing my peep grows. So.
Useki is never my strong point, so I tend to play really crazy moves in the opening. So whatever happens after this point in the game, I urge anyone watching me not to take me as a role model here, because I tend to play really, really fun and really, really aggressive moves right from the offset. So Off the bat, what I'm thinking of is double approaching the top left and ignoring F3 entirely, because I'm kind of curious to see what he wants to do to that at the bottom. Also, that doesn't strike me as a very good idea, so if you're watching, please don't do that.
Interestingly enough, you can be bad at Fuseki. I mean, why not? It's amateurs, right? So the first person to make a mistake is going to win the game. So go ahead, make a mistake in Fuseki, and you know that you are assured victory.
Exactly, especially if this game ever made it to the game, definitely.
So following up, pretty simple, basic concept. Let's just keep these things separated. Decisions. Do I let him connect? Do I get a wall? Nice StarCraft references there. B drops the mineral line. Leaning towards splitting and getting the wall. I don't know what that's going to do for me, though. Sorry, what?
He said, Drunk One Don said C17 without the Hane is supposed to be bad. I said it's bad in some cases. It depends on the board.
Yeah.
Other cases, it can actually be really, really bad for white if what white gets is not beneficial on a global scale.
Typically, I'll just go ahead and teach the Hane first just to make things really, really simple on the student. Because then you don't have to worry about, is this the right instance where I can get away with this? Is it not? It's like, no, just go ahead and Hane, go back. Let's see. If I make the wall, you're going to connect.
The idea...
Probably going to... Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm saying my idea with C17 is to give you a headache.
Yeah. Because if I get a wall here, it's going to be in Gote, and he's going to get another stone left-hand side. If I play this, I don't have the greatest shape. I'm picking up a couple of points. But...
Also, Sensei to move back to F3, we still have no idea where white's actual points are coming from, with the exception of the bottom left. So I feel like if white doesn't handle this right, this will put black in a slightly better position.
That's true. I think I'm just going to separate you. This way, anyway. I'm separating you no matter what I do, short of passing.
And for anyone watching, F17 is mostly dead, but it still has Aji. I can still...
Unless I go and Atari this right now, and then it will still be dead, and he will be jumping up and down. Let's see. I could take a calm two-space extension, get him to try to enclose. I could continue up on the bottom, but that's going way too centered.
It's not so much that white is over-concentrated. White's shape is pretty flexible. He's, for the most part, settled on top. It's just this way of play is to, for the most part, get Sente. So that you can more urgent part of the board. If he had blocked and got the wall, getting the wall would probably not result, or wouldn't end up in the result that he wants, because C6 is low. So really, E17 is probably the best direction for him to go with.
Possibly.
I'm just trying to give him a headache and make him think globally as early as possible, since that's what my strong point is in Go. So if I can manipulate him into playing my style, then I'm already winning.
and not like Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, these little mind games also play a very, very crucial part in high-level Go. It's how can you psych your opponent out and get him to do what you want.
I think that what I'm going to do immediately is just play a nice, calm move on the bottom.
His move is checking to see if I play Q5. Q5 would be normal. It's also doing what he wants. Exactly! That's why I said don't believe that I'm a 6-don. KGS lies.
It's not just trying to see if you can play Q5, though. It's also making certain that you can't play any kind of large or small knight off your corner, since it's kind of difficult to actually kill F3. I mean, even with one extra move, I'm not confident that F3 is going to die, so rather than try and play all my stones against it, Let's just make certain that you can't expand very much either.
So right now, a few options come to mind. C11 hasn't been played yet by white, and my skirt is technically speaking open on the left-hand side, so I can choose to enclose the left if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I can back off and play Q5 and see how white wants to handle the rest of the situation. Because the big focus of this game, I think, right now, is going to be who's going to make the first move with that F3 stone. Because if you see, we're both kind of not sure what we want to do there, so we're letting it go for the moment. Kind of debating, seeing how the rest of the board is changing, so we can decide how to handle this lower left-hand area. I can actually do something with F3 now, but it might be a bit early, I think. Because I have a feeling like if I enclose, then E3 might become a bit of a pain for me, because then I'm out and I'm running.
I don't think I can play E3 yet, though, because then all of my points are coming from the bottom left.
True,
I think
but
that'd
if
be a bit bad.
I get the bottom left before you, you don't have any points at all, so...
Some.
Okay,
if you decide to start running with F3, I'll get a couple of points.
Yeah, perhaps. Decisions. I kind of like C10, C11 too. C11 I think is a bit close. I would rather go far at C10, but or maybe even C9 if I'm feeling really aggressive, or maybe even C8 if I'm crazy, but... I'm sure a lot of you would like to see me be over-aggressive and die everywhere. I'm sure a lot of people have been voting for this.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
I don't think they were voting for that. Weren't they, like, telling you, like, different ways to try to kill me?
I think
it's the other way around.
Well, I can't kill you if I play Q5, now can I?
True.
Alright, so I'm really debating actually playing C8, which I personally feel is a bit of a mistake. C9 is the more balanced move, but...
I think C8's a mistake as well.
C8, I feel like I'm asking for a lot of trouble here, because I'm going to get two weak groups running into each other, for those of you that can't see it. So,
How can I not pincer C8?
I'm going to avoid playing Tengen as long as I possibly can.
Then again, maybe I don't even have to pincer C8. Maybe I could just follow up against F3, watch you pull back, and then approach your 3-4 stone.
Yeah, that would be interesting. C7 I don't really like a lot. I'm not really aiming so much for all-out, oh my god, territory, gimme now.
Oh wow, C7 is crazy.
C7 is crazier than C8 in my opinion.
C7 is desperate. That's like there's no...
I'm not crazy territory, gimme now. Actually, I am just going to be a more calm player here. I'm going to just take my corner. And
that would be my move.
So, because right now, with F3 being undecided for both players, I'm not really in a hurry to rush that area of the board because we're both kind of nitpicky at how we want to play here now.
Mm-hmm.
So the focus of the board is going to start shifting from here to O17 or to the C11 area. Those are going to probably be the first two areas that we're going to look at before we go back to F3.
Yeah, I am tempted to get in a move on the left-hand side. If nothing else, then to make certain that I do have profit if F3 decides to run. On the other hand, I think that's not really all that fun. So I want to do something fun. What's a fun thing that I can do?
The idea that I was thinking, though, is because even though we've got this sort of framework for both areas sort of popping up, black more so than white is obvious, but we want to see more how the board is going to be defined before we decide how we're going to play with the F3 area.
Oh, it got something fun though. What fun thing can we do?
G4 looks so fun. Please play it and let me kill you.
G4?
I've had so many 1Qs play that against me. It's not even fun.
Well, the shoulder hit can be kind of interesting. 3-3 in the upper right. That's kind of fun.
But the 3... I suppose it works with white strategy. He wants territory everywhere. And it's probably Sensei. But I don't really think that the upper left is so urgent at the moment.
Yeah, I'm thinking about approaching it regardless, though. I think the largest move on the board right now that would be a move like C12, but I don't really want to play it. I want to get into something interesting. Yeah, I actually am going to get into this. I think this might be fun. I
So,
suspect fun will be
contrary
had.
to popular belief here, apparently R15 is being considered an okay move. I still personally hate it.
You don't like R15? Why not? What do you like?
Well, I mean, only because I'm 4 spaces away. If I was 3 or closer, I would love that move, but because you can make a you can make a 2-space extension really easy after I kick you.
Oh, but a 2-space extension in and of itself isn't a lie. What do you prefer here?
But, like, I don't know, it's just not my playstyle. I like to be more overtly aggressive than just simply kicking you.
So what do you prefer then?
All my katana and cut your face off, kind of aggressive right now.
Short of stabbing me, what do you prefer?
Stabbing you. Actually, I'm considering R12 here.
R12. Pincering? Oh no, you can't pincer, man. I'll change directions.
Go ahead and change directions. Your top side is low, and I have Aji at F17. I'm not scared.
But I'll still have Aji with R14. It's not dead yet.
Yeah, and I still have Aji with F3. I have more Aji than you, and Aji plus Pokey Pokey equals Ouchie Ouchies.
Holy Christ, he remembers the proverb.
So I don't really think that I'm too worried about that right now. This is pretty much, if I pincer him now, this is pretty much saying I'm going to make an entire mess of this game. Another option would be noticing that he wants to change directions and playing Q17 right now and then attaching to him if he dives into the corner, which is usually what I would probably do. No way in hell am I going to play Q13.
Hey, careful.
Sorry, no way in Hades. I just see that move as being way out there, I'm sorry.
It's alright.
P15 looks interesting, but I'm not Shisaku, so I don't have the confidence to back that up, so...
If you played P15, I'd start throwing up. That would be audible, and it would really...
No, really...
It wouldn't make for a good lecture.
Kicking you would be normal, but backing off seems okay, too.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. You backed off.
This is going against the
Everything.
fundamental of the Chinese Fuseki, so unless you don't play this move.
Wow. What am I gonna do here? Oh my god, go away.
What are we saying, go away?
I didn't realize that I had Liquid Heroes playlist on mute.
Wow.
Yeah, if that actually turned on, that would have thrown off the, that would have thrown off everything. That is gone now, right? Yeah, okay, good.
Are you seeing what View is saying?
On what? What who's saying?
On KGS, what the heck does leaving his mineral line vulnerable and taking map control mean?
They've been talking about StarCraft this entire time, just so you know.
I'm totally oblivious.
He's been talking about StarCraft the entire time, rather.
No, he told me earlier that he's trying to game StarCraft terms.
I could just make a little
R13
kind of thing here.
I was actually intending to play R12, but R13 gives him headaches, so I'm perfectly fine with this.
Actually, I can settle pretty quickly. I think I'm either going to just do your 3-3 and be happy, or maybe I'll play S14. Those are the only options here. Normally, we see Q13 or S13 as an option as well, but because he has a stone at R9, you can kind of see in your head that Joseki sort of ends way too early, so I can't really play that. It doesn't go well for me. So I either do the 3-3, or I drop down. If I drop down, he's going to take the 3-3, I'm going to Hane, he's going to back off, and then I'm going to do a Tiger's Mouth to Q15. Then I have like a little base E thing-ish kind of going there, as well as not being completely surrounded. If I just take the 3-3, I say, screw it, surround me, I don't care, and he gets, maybe I get Senti out of that deal. This could be interesting. Let's do it. I'm just gonna 3-3 you. I don't care.
Good, because I've never seen S14 before.
Really?
Yeah.
S14 is like the most common shape here, I would think.
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen just 3-3 before, which is why I played it.
The only Joseki I know off of R17 now is this one.
I don't know a Joseki here, so you're like one step ahead of me here. I'm just playing what I haven't seen.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you can't figure this out, then you probably shouldn't be playing Go. Now Black's next move.
I can't figure this out.
Making
my teaching account.
Good, but I don't think I might have to play that with R9 here. So I'm going to try to think of what other interesting moves I have right now that I could possibly play. Since I don't feel like I need to...
Well, I think the cut is large, but I don't think you can afford to protect it right now. Because if
Yeah.
I actually get the cut and force you to back off and get to Atari Q14, your shape there becomes not what you want.
Actually, I have an interesting idea that I want to try.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that cut is there.
Mm-hmm. So what he's doing is he's saying, yeah, I can cut. He's going to back off. I can Atari. He can connect. But after that, I would be wanting to play a move like M17. So he's saying, okay, that's there, but I'm just going to make certain that he can't play the M17 move, and that way everyone's happy. Plus, this is putting pressure on F17. So he's saying maybe this is actually going to be Sente. Let's see. Okay, let's say Sente, am I gonna go there? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? He's gonna push, and then I'm gonna, like, I don't know.
Come on, I'm crazy. You're not
I don't
I'm
know.
better volatile players on KGS besides Rocker.
You're really?
When I play really, really aggressive, I do really, really crazy things. You have no idea. Like, I just abandon all reading and just go all out. It's crazy.
Alright, I like that idea. No reading. Forget the top. Let's just expand.
You've seen how I play on, Mobile Duck.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I was really aggressive and crazy, I would pincer him back. And then we're gonna get into this really, really large fight, and nobody knows.
Okay, Ashley says we are leaving a good example of how to play. Just don't read and have fun. That's the way Go is supposed to be.
And that is exactly what you do. That's how we got to 5-down. At least that's how I got to 5-down. I put very little reading effort into my games at all.
I'd like try to read one move ahead.
Well, that's very little reading effort. I mean,
Oh, yeah, okay.
When I think a lot of reading effort, I think 5 moves, 6 moves.
Who does that? Who has time for that?
I am very
30-second Byoyomi? You're going to read, like, 6 moves
good.
ahead? Every variation?
Crazy. You can ask that. He's seen my play. I'm ridiculous.
Sorry.
A few options. If I'm worried, if I'm not worried about giving him the world, I could kick him and he'll expand, and then all of a sudden I have to deal with this ever-expanding left-hand side, and then he knows how he's going to harass F3 after that.
I have no idea how I'm going to harass F3.
I'm going to shoulder hit.
Oh, I'm going to shoulder hit. Thank you. I was wondering.
Of your mind. Well, I am thinking about considering that still, and I also want to think if there's anything I can do here that will put more pressure with that F17 Nanji, because he did ignore L17. L17 does threaten to bring F17 out.
To be fair, I would not have ignored it if you'd played K17.
Well, the thing with K17 is it is probably proper because it is more severe against you, but then I would owe a move, and I don't like owing moves, so I played the 2 space. But if for all intents and purposes, if I was going to be like super cut your head off, I would have played K17.
I think I would have preferred K17.
I have a few options here with the F17 stone. I don't think I want to use it quite yet. I still want to just decide what I want to do with this D14 stone.
So I like the K17, then if I have to respond, and then you jump up to
start making my Moyo
K15, and then you have like this huge area that I have to do something about.
Even if I do jump up to K15, like the more I'm going to be expanding that off the right at some point, and then I don't like that R9 is low. I prefer that to be the high Chinese, and I'd rather have a different just on the right hand side.
Yeah.
So I think L16 was played more, or L17 was played more or less for balance. In this case, if I really wanted to be aggressive, I would pincer you. But then after I pincer you, where does that go? Because that seems like it gets a bit difficult to handle for me. There's a bit of Aji with that nice move. Let's see how you would play here. That doesn't work for you, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe it does. Douche. I don't think I can cut you there.
My legacy on Go. Everyone now says dude when they read.
It's true. After I watched his videos for the first time, he found me on Taigam doing that. I just because I'm thinking right now if I do pincer, C15 could be a pain in my butt. And I really don't like that C15 has the potential to be a pain in my rear. And if I kick him to defend C15, he's just going to start building this nice left-hand side up, and I really don't want to be burdened with having to defend this. Or reduce that, I mean.
Yeah, essentially we both potentially have frameworks that might be built, and neither of us wants to help the other build that framework.
So this is going to be very interesting at how I play this next move. This is not a model move. You don't want to play a move like this.
Oh dear.
Very, very early in a game because it's for losers and because I'm a... No, you're not feeling a pincer. I'm going to do something completely crazier than a pincer. I'm gonna defend my shape in the most obscene way I can possibly do it for this early in the board game.
Ah, so not quite B14, but a small knight, okay.
This move is a bit active for B14 because I am threatening C10 now. And C10 is quite severe in this case.
Alright, that's a headache. What's the difference between this and B14? So this can go underneath me. Do I like that? Nah, maybe not so much. I drop down. Do I have any follow-ups? Yeah, kinda. I could, but then the drop down's kinda nice. I drop down. If you can pinch me when I drop down, but that's kind of a bit of a stronger thing there. If I don't do any of that, I do something else, he can pincer me, and then that's suddenly actually okay. So I don't want to. That's yeah. All right. That sets up for a pincer. Let's say no to pincer. Just say no to pincers, and I'm actually going to respond locally. I'm fine locally.
And now, because B13 was only meant as a forcing move to defend my shape, I no longer have to commit here. So that's also a good point.
Now, how can I destroy his shape now that he thinks it's fine?
You can. C15 doesn't work for you anymore.
I will find a way.
C15 doesn't work for you. I will kill you. I'm actually going to do something else that's really, really crazy.
Oh, now he's going to pincer. Okay, now we're getting into fun. Okay, what are we going to do here? Let's see, he wants to jump up or something out of there.
It's fine.
Okay, I don't want... Okay, so I do that, and then he goes... Okay, so he's looking for that kind of deal. Alright, so what happens if I actually just kick right now? What is his follow-up going to be? His follow-up has to be D11, I guess. Okay, so that seems kind of... Okay. So what if I do that?
Why not D10 instead? Again, this is a bit more of a balanced move. D10 is... It makes things, in my opinion, a bit easier for White to handle. I respect White's position on top. I know that I have Aji to play there, but it's just right now, it's a bit of a headache trying to figure out how I want to use it. And not to mention, F3 is still weak.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be crazy aggressive with D10. I kind of want to back off a little bit and keep it lighter.
Yeah.
If I play D10 and he counterattacks, then I get really, really heavy, and I don't like that idea.
D10 is farther away, but at the same time, it has a higher probability of being able to connect to F3 in the future if he has to run it out. So if D9 gets strong, if D9 gets strong, then it's only going to keep helping up F3, which is why I am now looking at C14. I'm looking for some way to help my stone as much as I can before I have to give him Sente.
Now here, I have a few ideas. The idea I think he's looking for me is C13.
No way. Why would you play that?
It's stupid, I know. I'm actually looking at a few other options.
I mean, I guess you can. You're still going to get Sente after I protect my top point.
I'm looking to see if C15 makes me stronger to use F17. Because if I play then Dute, and what do you play? What do you do?
I don't know. I read this for like one move, and then I have no plan after it. Just so you know. Okay. So it looks like that's going well. Now, how much is this going to destroy my corner by playing these moves that I'm thinking of? I think a lot. I think the answer is a lot. I'm going to Hane here, because Hane always sounds like a nice thing to do.
I'm retarded and I'm crazy. I'm insane. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking.
He's about to attack me is what he's saying. Last time he said this, he attacked me. So now that he's saying this again,
If
obviously...
you think I'm going to play B14, you're crazy.
No, I don't expect that. I don't expect that at all.
I am actually contemplating something else entirely.
It's got to be one of your two moves, right? Either F3 or D9? Helping, something like that?
Helping something? No.
No?
I'm thinking far more along the lines of killing you outright.
Well, how can you kill me without helping something?
I'm working on that. You have brought out aggression in my play, and now I'm thinking of really, really crazy aggressive...
I was playing simply, and then you went and pincered me.
I'm sure you can guess what area of the board my stone is hovering over right now.
No, I don't know, Tengen.
No, heck no. What is the most aggressive move I can make against D13?
A1.
I would love to play A1. I played that against Kemboy, no. So my turn, you cut me, and I connect. You descend, I play there. You come, I run. Connecting to a ladder doesn't seem so favorable for you. This is going to kill me if I misread this. I'm just letting everybody know this right now. I will die if I misread.
Oh, I should pay attention. Oh, double Hane. Okay, so, yeah, what he was saying is he's leaving the cut behind. Then he's going to connect, and then I descend. But there is no way that's possibly ever going to kill him without me already having D18. Because as long as he has D8, as long as D18 is not on the board, he can live with E18. Because I can't Hane that. So there's no reason for me to cut this. Except to play, let's say, here. I can threaten a double Hatari.
This is very, very good for, this is very, very complicated. It gets simple at the same time, I think. That makes no sense, but we're both, like, the headache was first on white, and now the headache is now on black, so I have to think for a moment. I don't want to play, I could play C13, I could play C13, but then I owe a move, and I don't like owing moves, because I have to go back and capture, and then the cut is still behind that one stone. But, I have to actually see if I play C13, he plays there. I take.
Now, locally, this may appear to be easier for white right now than it is for black, especially because there's a double Atari being threatened. But you have to keep in mind that I have to constantly reevaluate how healthy my stone on the top of the board, my group on top of the board is. Because, as we mentioned earlier in the game, F17 is not dead yet. So my group is not completely alive yet. So I have to kind of balance how much I'm willing to surround my group.
This F13 move may seem...
Alright, now I have to live. So I'm going to borrow you to live. Hope you don't mind.
This move that I made is actually really, really aggressive against white.
I think it's too much. I was worried about my life. I think you're about to make me live.
You think I'm about to make you live? Probably. C13 probably was better, but I don't want to go with the crowd here.
Yeah, we haven't been doing anything that they've been saying, so this is good.
I'm actually thinking about doing something really insane. Oh god.
Frozen has beautiful shape, which isn't fair
No.
when it's killing you.
No, I don't have beautiful shape. Actually, E14 is very bad shape for black, and that's why I played F13, because I wanted to make a fight.
Well, the right-hand side's pretty nice.
The right-hand side is nice, but I'm thinking about whether or not I can get away with G17 or if that really is too much.
G17?
Oh, yeah, because if you go back in D18...
G18, then I'll capture E18?
I'm thinking, because if I play there and you go back to D18 and I cut you, and you take, and I throw in, and you take, and then I Atari, that's what I'm thinking right now.
Wow, you've totally outread me. I'm like, throw-ins, takes, what?
Go for it. I want to see if I'm reading this right. Yeah, see, no, I was misreading entirely.
You want to do that? Because this is weird. I don't know what throw-ins you're going to do here. This is so creepy.
I was assuming that you were going to play D18 just so we can end this and do another game like you said you were going to do before. But
well, I can't do D18, can I?
D18 is interesting. This is pretty much me letting him live. Because if I run away with my two stones now, then he's just going to go back to D18 and I have nothing anymore.
Yeah, I think this game might be slowly approaching over, because if you have to live painfully like this, how are you gonna... What about your other two stones? Now you got the 4 in the middle you have to worry about.
Actually, I actually have a really crazy idea forming in my
Crazy's
head
good.
right now. Forming in my head right now. I'm thinking about doing really crazy, insane things. White's definitely gonna win, but I can't afford to live painfully, so I really don't have any other choice about this.
The thing is, this game is not about who's gonna win or who isn't going to win, because I honestly don't care about any of that.
Neither do I.
It's just about letting you guys kind of hear what we're thinking about when we play, because usually you only hear what one person's thinking about. And I think that this might be a bit more interesting. Let's see, if I take, what happens? If I take, you throw in and laugh at me? Okay, I don't want to be laughed at. That hurts my feelings. I have to connect. Yeah, it's only Malkovich if they don't hear. Which, someone earlier mentioned that I might want to think about that in the future, like calling someone and discussing moves while we both mute ourselves, so, or not mute ourselves, while I don't know how that would work, actually. While we don't have our headphones on, so we can't hear what the other one is saying or something?
No, I was never an ASR. Right now, I don't like that G15 is possible for White, but I have an idea, and I'm trying to see if it kind of eases the burden of that cut.
Oh, that peep is definitely something I have to respond to. Respond to? Respond to. I kind of see what he's up to here. It looks like he's sacrificing the corner for influence so he can expand off his initial framework, which seems rather professional-like and is offending me greatly. Alright, question. Can this corner live in any way, shape, or form if I ignore? Do I have to, play another move? Let's see. If he plays C18, I theoretically could just play a monkey jump and kill that, right? I mean, there's nothing there, yeah? And then if he plays here, I can do something like that. Alright, so the corner is dead. Okay, I've confirmed death. So, the question is, what is important now? And I think what's important now is this bottom stone more than the corner stone. Because if that jumps out, yeah, I've got a corner, but that's all I have. I guess I'll kick now.
Now that White is alive, they're not really important. The bulk of what I can do, I can let him have those stones and just play outside of it. Now here is where I start playing interesting, because the kick, he's looking for F4. Any player would look for F4. F4 feels a bit heavy. And since I'm playing really, really light on the upper left, I don't think that I can really afford to play heavy down here. I don't want my shape to get assaulted anywhere on the board, so time to think about this for a bit. Small Knight? What do you want me to do?
I think he wants you to play H4.
If I was going to play a small Knight, then I would play E2, have you play there, and then I would play E5 and keep White shape that way. That would be the only small Knight I would think of right now. I'm actually contemplating F5, and I'm also contemplating ignoring you again.
Yeah, what I'm doing with the kick, essentially, I see a giant framework, and I see that I've left F3 since the Stone Age. So I figure let's go ahead and follow that up. If he does nothing, I might have territory when I follow up my move. If he does something, I can follow him into the framework, right? And suddenly, what I have to do to actually reduce him becomes so much less of a headache, because he'll just happily help reduce himself. Now, in the interest of playing quote-unquote fun, we are going to probe instead and see what he wants to do here. He wants to blatantly ignore anything that I'm doing, so I'm going to just Alright, this is a game of Tanuki. Alright, this is good. I like this a lot. Who has bigger sensei? That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it.
Ooh, shit.
Okay, so that's a good move. This is a nice example of when the triangle is not as bad a move as everyone always tells you that it is.
This is actually Tetsuji I saw in a book once.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dawn level playing at its finest, so when one of us dies, please by all means clap and laugh at us like everyone on Tigan does, because it will probably be me.
I don't know, man. This is going pretty well. You're like denying my attempts to get shape.
This is going to be interesting, because now I have to decide if I have to spend another move in the corner. If not, then I'm just going to play P9 or something of the like, or surround you or something.
P9 would that would really hurt my feelings.
I know. I'm just seeing if P3 is any kind of lethal, and I really don't think it is. P3 block, push, and I can Atari, so I'm not really worried about that right now.
I am being hurt. Help, I'm being oppressed. I guess I'll see if this works, because there's like 2 liberties here, yeah? This has got to be a cool move, right? Yes! Thank you for cool moves. I get his corner now. I'm so happy about that. And I have a huge middle I gotta reduce all over again. He doesn't care! Okay, we have to reduce this guy immediately, because this is getting out of control. Wow. What are you, and what game are we playing?
I'm hitting his cash against my giant Moyo.
You can't let everything go, man.
Watch me.
Alright, this is getting nuts. I'm gonna find something to get in here with. Hey now, wait a minute. I gotta read again. Am I live here yet? No, I need to move here. Okay. My stones. Oh, stop that. I don't want to respond to you. Look at this crap you're doing. I don't want to respond to any of this. Alright, my stones are suddenly cut off now while we were doing this, but I lived with a really crazy invasion, so I get points for that. I don't know what to do here. My brain is just, like, totally turned off at this point. It's like, what's going on?
If you're too space nice, you lose your Dawn card. Actually, he's been promoted to 14Q already, so the Dawn card is non-existent at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I'm like 14, 15K. Anyone who watches my streams are like, you're not a Dawn level player, you're like 30Q.
I am 30Q. I have a 30Q account to back that up.
You're not supposed to say that on KGS.
I never said it was on KGS. Tigan lets you set your rank, IGS lets you set your rank, and Book lets you set your rank. I have a 30Q account on all 3 of those.
Okay, so he doesn't have one on KGS, just so you know.
Now, if I was really, 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 really weird, I'll play this move because I'm really, really weird.
If? What's this if nonsense you're referring to?
Yeah. There's
have you
no
seen what we're playing?
Basically, at this point, the game is still very favorable for white. Black's middle is not as large as it seems to be.
Guess I'll Atari this, because I want some kind of profit here. Really?
The bane of your existence.
Why would you do that to me? You know that... you've seen too many of my games. This is just cheating now. He knows that I, like, never win a KO, ever. Ever.
And essentially, this is what I have to bring the game down to now, is if I can utilize the Aji of F3, because giving him all 4 corners isn't really a good idea for the sake of developing a big middle.
Alright, forget you. I'm picking a different fight that I think I can actually win, so... Yeah, okay. What?
Fine.
That's not what you were supposed to play. You were supposed to play something entirely different.
Since when do I play different?
Alright, this is starting to annoy me. I see what you're doing. These are not the moves you're looking for.
I think they're totally the moves I'm looking for. Oh yeah, I'm in insane aggression mode. Let's see if this works.
You are not cutting off that stone, I refuse.
Let me read this. Dude. Can my Ruski Go powers work if I descend here? Or should I just Atari outright? Atari outright seems the simple way. This way it will allow me to keep my Moyo. Descending is probably better, but I feel like if I descend, he'll play D6 instead, and I don't want that. So I'm going to play something entirely different and hope to God that this works, and we shall see. Now, what was the move I was going to play after this? Oh yeah, I was going to be totally aggressive and contact these things. Oh.
I haven't turned out the link in a while, 1 second. And yeah, my assumption that we were going to be playing 2 games is completely gone, because this is going way over the time that I thought we were. But they seem to be enjoying it, so, I mean, that's good, right?
And again, I'm playing really, really aggressive, so...
I get to connect! I actually get to connect! Ha! Now what?
This is quite annoying, sir.
Yes, I'm trying to kill you again after all of this. I think your group on the right is now dead.
On the left.
Whatever direction that is.
Yep.
The offending direction.
I was trying to end the game.
Yeah, I figured you were. So let's just, guess I'll go over and review some things that we didn't talk about.
Blocks. Normally I wouldn't play so outright aggressive in that lower left area. I would have contained myself a bit.
Actually,
if we go back to where I played that attachment to F7, I said I was going to do something really, really bad and attach to a weak stone.
F7?
Yeah, well, besides playing E4 now, but playing F7 after you took the stone.
Oh, that? I actually thought you were going to play this, and I wasn't entirely certain what I was going to do at that point.
That is the smartest move. I was trying to end it with E7, that's what I said, so...
I see.
At this point, it's still a game for black. It just depends on how much of the middle I get to keep.
Yeah.
If we actually count, white's biggest cache of points is going to be in the top left, and that's about 5-ish, maybe.
Well, the top left, it can grow, because, I mean, I do have that Hane still. It really is a question of how am I going to get into here. Because this isn't going to get me too far, and if I, try to Hane and break in this way, I'm just going to find myself either double Hane or cut, or both. And, so I can't really break in there. What I really have to try to do in order to break in is get him to defend, a group on the left-hand side or something while I'm trying to connect. Not sure how that's going to go. I don't know.
Even that move's a bit hard because I have F8. So
yeah.
I can just cut you that way and make it a really, really big mess if my influence isn't advantageous for you. This is a Fuseki that I'm not entirely familiar with, so I was trying something new and fun. Normally I would just play regular Kobayashi.
Yeah, I've seen this I've seen this for a while now, since I first began playing Go. I don't see many people play it, but it is a super, super fast way of playing. Kobayashi is that.
F17 is played at K4.
This is Kobayashi. Let's see here. This is pretty normal. And again, I kind of think that this is the actual proper way of defending.
But it's hard for you. I mean,
it is difficult for me, but I think I actually have more that I can do in terms of maybe I can approach 017 and expand along the top in some way.
The idea
I can maybe attack if you try and make a group here. I kind of think this is actually the proper way of playing on this particular board, and not this one.
Well, that way just makes the game very territorially oriented for you, so it kind of limits your options in that sense. Playing your move, and Q5 is a move that I was toying with. I could go and play C9 or C10, but then if white approaches me or does some weird shenanigans on the right-hand side, I'd
play C9. I don't think I'd want this to ever become a problem, because I mean, this is, I wouldn't want to read this out later on in the game, like maybe I've got, like, I don't know, some group over here where the Hane actually makes sense. I don't know.
The answer to your C12 move was kind of me trying to be an innovator at the moment, but I was trying to play a more active move than B14 in that case, because
I have to say I still like this one the best.
The kick, yeah.
Because it's so easy to respond to. I mean, this is a move that I'm going to have to be careful of, like, the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And anything that you actually do to expand, I have to constantly reevaluate, am I behind enemy lines now? Like, what's going on here? But I know you don't like it. That could be style, I guess.
Yeah, I've never really liked kicking if I don't have a pincer, so it's probably something I avoided. That was a misclick. I was actually going to go for influence with that one. But I've never seen the S14 Joseki here.
Yeah. I think this is one. I think I actually do one more. And make this square shape?
In this case, I'm not sure if I would mind this too much. I'd probably just play L17.
Yeah, I think it's okay for both sides.
Actually, I'd probably play C10 here. Screw L17. That's not really an issue since I can S17 at any time. It seems like L17 and S17 are a bit knee-eye for me at the top, so I can just go back to the left-hand side, and I feel like I'm still I still have a slight lead.
So you wanted to do this then?
Yeah, my objective was to play more of an influence route with this.
I wouldn't want to have to play this. I mean, I don't have to worry about it working right now. You don't have to worry about it working, obviously, because you're pretty strong on the right-hand side. Who cares if I run it out or not? But I don't like giving up Sente. And if you leave it to play that move again, then...
Yeah, it gets a bit messy.
I can just make shape here pretty easy. And then the huge metal, I don't have to really worry about it too much, because I've got forcing moves. I think I like your territorial idea better.
Perhaps. It's not a style I'm too used to playing, I'd have to say. Here, when we were talking about K17, I felt that if you can go and play K17 instead of L17, even if I play that and white responds with G17, I don't ever want... I noticed there's a peak at P15, and I don't want him to get anything around M17 or M16, so I kind of felt like I owed a move there. I'd have to jump up or something. And even if I did that, there's so many different ways that white can reduce this. I just didn't really feel comfortable playing that way, so I took a more balanced option with L17.
Actually, I don't know. I think what I would do after that, if I was going to defend anything, I'd probably play something over here. Maybe. I don't know.
It seems okay, but even with that, I think it might be a bit difficult with that Q13 top point. You can slide underneath.
Or just be greedy. Say, white, you can worry about all those weaknesses. I'm just going to take territory.
This sort of inviting style is a forte of very, very aggressive players, far more aggressive than I am. That's more Tigum style or something in the range, because they'll let you try to harass their weaknesses, and since they're so much better at fighting than I am, they just crush me. Yeah. So that's also a very, very fun way to play. This B13 move is normally at B14, but I kind of wanted to play in a way that's a bit more active. And after I Haned here...
I'd ignore. You got your response out of me. You can still live up there whenever you want.
Yeah, alright. F5 now would be very good. White has to decide what he's going to do with J5 and M3. He's going to have to bring them up probably to reduce my middle.
I mean, naturally I'd want to try to split this, but if he actually gets into a strong position after my split, and I can't really say, oh yay, look at all my territory, because this 3-3 here is actually still available. And if I don't do anything about it, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah. It's very, very hard also, because I have so many different options with the F17 stone depending on the board. I can wrap around with G16, I can live locally with E18, I can be greedy with G17, it's just...
This was me being stupid.
Me playing 13...
No, I need to do this. Never mind.
F13 was a bit weird, I think. Probably should have just cut you. instead at c13, like they were saying. But even then, after you connect and I take the stone,
I think the simplest move here actually would just be to connect.
connect, yeah. E14, because then it's still cut open.
If I do play this, then you've got the forcing move still.
Yeah, and then
And until I cut, you don't have to worry about going back and living up there.
You can't really cut while F17 is still a problem for you. So
I mean, you can even, if you really want, you can even fix your shape here, just by...
Yeah, G17, then just wrap around on the outside. I was looking for something like that later in the game, I think, when I sacrificed. But I was debating whether or not I should have turned first.
I see.
Instead of playing that directly, I was debating if I should have played H16 first, if I could provoke a response directly by threatening C18, but I wasn't sure if that actually worked or not.
I see.
Because if I did play that and you ignored me and I played C18, you can always just Tiger's Mouth on the top and threaten to go underneath or go out, and it's just really good. I didn't think that I could actually kill you there if I did that,
This
so I just...
was my attempt to end the game.
Yeah,
I thought you were just going to defend, and I have nowhere to go.
Standard move, but I wanted to have fun, so I got really, really aggressive with
I thought you were going to have fun by killing my invasion.
I know, but I wanted to see if you could actually make it live.
No.
And I wanted to use that Tetsuji.
Well, if you ignore me enough times, I will.
I wanted to use that Tetsuji. So also here, J5 I think is bigger since you ignored my initial cap, so you have to worry about F3 now.
They're back.
Yeah. Essentially, the only stone that's in danger is M3, actually, because if I do play H3, he can go underneath like you saw in the game, and that's really the only stone I can cut off, and he still keeps a pretty large corner. So he still has options open. I guess he figured that connecting would be a bit slow, and he wanted to back up the invasion. Play G3 as black or white. If white plays that, I'm going to ignore him. So, black, why would I play G3? That's a bit heavy, and you can just poke it. H3 is a bit easier of a shape for me to handle, I think.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that.
He was asking why you didn't defend M3 and J3.
Why I didn't defend those? Because I was busy living.
That's it. It's also, it feels a bit slow since you know that the only stone in danger is M3.
Yeah, those stones aren't really in trouble because I can even extend still if I think my two stones are in any danger whatsoever.
I have to play 05, which is ridiculous because now he has Pokies and I don't like that.
Yeah. So I don't really see this actually being in trouble, so I figure the middle group that should be dead, let's just see if that doesn't die, I guess? I probably should have just played that.
The Hane gives me that little Tetsuji, the empty triangle, but you guys saw, I didn't even hesitate to play that move.
No. That's a good move.
Defend it with P9 is actually really, really good because now not only does white have to live, but my top is getting out of control. If I play like J16 now, the game is actually no longer favorable for white because while white's busy spending moves living in my corner and taking the small territory that's there, he still has to worry about the M3, J3 stuff now that I'm stronger on the outside. And also my Moyo is just getting more and more solid, so it's going to be harder for him to find ways to poke into it.
To be fair, I think I might have been better off actually taking your corner solidly and making certain that this is absolutely nothing. Because I don't think you're ever running out this stone, so I don't think these are going to...
This is in the game, since I have invested everything in this Moyo, I don't really have a choice but to try to keep it as large as possible since I get multiple corners. I mean, after I made that initial sacrifice in the upper left, I had no choice but to play this way. I mean, that's all I could do. After I pulled out with G17, that was the decision that I had to make. So,
plus, you have to figure that this isn't as large as it could be, as long as you're not going, oh my god, I have to live with this right now, or I'm just going to lose. No, just, like, take your forcing moves first, poke at the edges, see what he's going to do.
And then work your way in from the outside. So.
Yeah, see where the Aji is. Because, I mean, even from this, maybe...
It was really not that big.
Maybe when you actually count it out, you realize that maybe that's all that you really needed to do.
Yeah, see, because, I mean, if you count out this middle, there's maybe 60 points for black total, and if you look at all four corners for white, I'm pretty sure he has more than enough to win.
Yeah.
Because I still have to do something with F3. If he gets a move like H4 and now, it's game over. If he attaches at H5, it's game over.
It almost makes a heart. Yeah, I can see that.
To all of you people out there that PM'd me to play Tengen or something, say, against him, I like that you guys want to see him die.
I like that too. That's nice. That makes me all warm and fuzzy inside.
I'm not going to play that way because I respect him as an opponent. Yeah, after this seems like it could be fun. I would probably have to play F8 here.
Yeah, you have to cut that off. Wait, F8? What? What's F8?
Try and get it off somewhere.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
seems like
fine. I'll disconnect up. It's like,
Yeah.
abandoned ship! But then that's probably enough, because then you can, like, seal me out of there. I don't know.
Bad's choice to connect the co was actually really, really good because getting me a co when I had a lot of co threats, well, we both had a lot of co threats.
Dude, the co's are like the bane of my existence. Even when they're favorable to me, I lose them. You don't understand.
If you go back to J2 and assume that white cuts me and I take the co, right? No, my rank on KGS was 6 on, so he had to make it accurate to what KGS believes. If he did play the co out, you have to realize that that entire top left side of the board is a co factory for black.
He was 6 on when this began. It's just KGS being crazy.
Yeah, KGS is weird. I don't know. It bumps me from 6 on to 5 on so many times. If you look at my rank graph, I'm right at the edge.
But yeah, if I lose this, oh man.
If he does lose it, there's no way, because then his little move, that beautiful move of his to poke into my thinner no longer works.
And then even the 3-3 is now optional for you, if you actually get this, because all my potential territories are disappearing.
Yeah, and with a large Moyo, it's pretty much game over, so
yeah.
Avoiding the ko was actually a really smart idea, and me playing all in for my Moyo, I had to try to stop him from reducing in such a fashion. What move did you play next?
That one. Try to do something and then...
Tried to surround it to make it bigger.
I should just... I don't know. I thought about playing this. I don't know if it worked, though, or not. I wanted to just clamp to you. But then this gets kind of complicated to read. I mean, I guess it can, because this doesn't work.
Yeah, and then the minute that happens, I'm cutting off 2 stones and that one in the middle, so...
Yeah.
Could force the ko with
this
the
probably was a better item move then.
I was actually more or less looking for Sensei because I knew it was a ko that white really didn't want to fight, so he would connect. I was looking for a reason to play G6 and make my Moyo bigger. At this point in the game, we weren't really focused on what was best or anything.
Yeah, we were kind of focusing on ending the game.
We were mostly figuring out what ways we could end the game by going all in our style. And he was going all in for territory introducing. I was going all in for making the world's largest Moyo with black.
Yeah.
And it almost worked until I killed myself. But that was a good place to end the game, was to play E7. So at this point, I think white's lead should be pretty clear with M17, P18. M3 still has a bit of Aji to it. I have small knights that he can use on the right to break into my Moyo a bit bigger, or a bit more. It's just all around not a good day for black right now.
That said, it was a pretty good game. I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of style. Like I said in the beginning, it's one that I've been actually trying to do with someone for a while. There was one person that was like really trying, another teacher here on KJS that I was really trying to get, but I can't say anything else, otherwise I don't know who it is. Suffice it to say, he didn't want to do that, and he was really adamant for like the year I was pestering him to do it. Just didn't want to. But Frozen was cool. He wanted to, and he does teach every once in a while, so...
I'm very active in KGS teaching ladder, so if you see me on and you need a game review, just PM me.
There you go. 34 people. Go PM him right now.
What? No! Not all at once. And if you're interested, you can join Dante's Ninth Inferno. That's my room.
That is also his room.
It's like Hades on steroids. Hopefully we can get a fight league up and running sometime soon. So if you really want to get good at fighting, go there. We play like Taigen players, so it's going to get really crazy, really fun.
Suffice to say, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you...
And everybody, go PM Bat right now to make another KGS series game.
I do intend to do that, hopefully this week. But yeah, those of you who are watching this later on KGS, or not on KGS, on YouTube, Feel free to leave a message whether you liked or hate this style. You guys who are watching currently live can also do the exact same thing.
Yes,
So I kind of have an idea of if I should be thinking about doing this again anytime in the future, or not.
you're welcome to do it with me again if you ever really want to, so
Probably.
just say hi, and yeah.
Probably. This went fairly well.
And I'll try not to be so crazy moyo next time. I'll play something I'm actually familiar with.
No